and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy Podcast, episode 596 for the week of Monday, October 9th, 2023. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
And Kevin.
Hello. Now you can hear me, correct?
What?
You can hear me?
What?
Audio's coming through clear, fine?
Sure.
I don't know what... If this episode makes it, congratulations. You've heard us record an episode.
In the words of George
podcast.
W. Bush, the world can hear you.
The world.
Okay. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if my mic was dying. Zoom, I was fine in Zoom and could not get the podcasting to pick up my audio at all. I have no idea what the heck's going on. So either Zoom hates me, Zencaster hates me, my mic hates me, my computer hates me. Just normal every day. Everyday stuff.
I stopped zooming on this for this podcast a long time ago. It was becoming too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I don't know. It's never. You have weird login problems with Zoom. I mean, I love seeing everyone's beautiful faces, but it's okay. I hear your beautiful voice. It's good enough. It's good enough. We have a couple things to talk about this week. We mentioned last week, real slow the last couple months in comic news, but that it kind of relates to a topic I want to bring up today, kind of our main topic, and we've discussed at length previous episodes things like the writer strike and actor strike, which is getting resolved now, but and just sort of a kind of bit of lack of the kind of nerd media, kind of interest in it over the last year, really this calendar year, I'd say for the most part. There's some stuff is obviously clicked, but we're starting to see some superhero fatigue, as they like to say. Last year, comic sales definitely started to slow back down, kind of going back to that pre-COVID levels, as things really boosted up in 2020, 2021, as people were home a lot more and bored, and anime became, it's always been popular, but incredibly more popular with new series and recent manga books becoming immensely popular. But we're starting to see a slide back down to, I think, everything, right? I know the store, again, when I say has slowed down, it's not bad. It's just returning to where we were 2018, 2019, maybe, because me and Brock have talked about this. We didn't really know what was going to happen in 2020.
No.
With the shutdown, with the book stopping, things got crazy busy.
Stupid.
Not good, almost too busy.
Stupid busy.
Yeah.
I haven't touched sorting actual back issues in 3 years.
Things are still, and I don't want to say good sales is good and now it's not good. These bumps tend not to last, and if you plan for them to last, you're usually gonna get kind of screwed over a little bit, because we've seen this cycle. I've seen the cycle now.
Oh yeah,
on my side of the counter, right? Customers maybe don't see it as much, but you listening. But on our end, we've seen this time and time and time again, where things get better, things slow down. Comics are dying. Well, people were saying that in 2020 and 2021, where comic sales were the highest they've ever been by gigantic amounts, and now they're slowing down, and people are going to say comic sales are dying. It's no, this is just the ebb and flow of the industry as it goes. You get some things sell well, some things slow down. You get a bunch of creators that are sort of new. The churn that Marvel and DC have, it's very cyclical. You can just look back every 10 years. There's a massive changeover in who's there. Everyone leaves Marvel and DC, and then they go do independent work, and they do their own things because that's when they can make more money, do their own projects, pitch things to Hollywood, yada, yada, yada. They get burned out working for Marvel and DC, and then the new group of people come up. Takes a couple years for them to get to kind of become those names, but that's where we are now, right? So you've had a mass exodus of talent from Marvel over the last couple of years. DC has sort of leveled out a little bit. You've lost some people, but you've had mainstays like Mark Waid come back. Josh Williamson has kind of upped his level from kind of being one of the one of the gang to now kind of running the ship. I think Chip Zdarsky sort of bounced back and forth between Marvel and DC. You've had Al Ewing, Jonathan Hickman's come back to Marvel. So, you've had some of those bigger names, Dan Slott's stick around. But, a lot of the lower tier Marvel and DC books right now are a bunch of creators, that aren't topping the sales charts. And that's just the way it is, right? Again, people that have sort of cycled out of Marvel and DC. So it doesn't tend to all happen at once. I feel like I've said this forever. You can go back to the start of the podcast. It always feels like one's up, one's down. Marvel's up, then DC's up, and then Marvel's down. And we kind of, New 52 and all new Marvel kind of jumped up when DC was going down. So this is always sort of the way. But from so I'd say 2018, 2016, 2017 for DC, 2016, 2017 for Marvel, once Cibusable gets to go over, they both kind of were doing real good. Obviously some question in 2020, but it feels like they're DC, I'd say, is pretty flat. Marvel has taken a huge drop down, but again, that is just a cycle of how these books go. So Marvel and DC, neither of them are killing it right now. They've had some good books, they both have, but there isn't those 2 or 3 books by either company right now that's just blowing the waters out of everything else. There's a lot of decent sellers and okay sellers, but there isn't that chart-topping seller right now. And of course, this happens at the same time as the writer strike and actor strike, which is, the complete hemorrhaging of streaming services and companies now raising. I'm sure everyone has got at least 1 or 2 emails this week from every streaming company that they're subscribed to is raising their rates, which is not going to go over great. You get in that yearly subscription before it went up, Brock, for Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Were you able to get that in?
Yeah, because I finally had to dig through 4 pages of them trying to slam me with a fucking Disney Plus ad and Hulu garbage.
I know you were talking about that the other week, and I just got the email that it was going up. So if you got in, you got in.
Yeah, I got in right under the wire. So I'm like, okay, I'm good for another year, but renewing at $140 a year?
Yeah. Well, let's see what it is in a year. I don't think it's going to be 140. It'll be higher. Because it jumped from.
I think Netflix is on the chopping block in the next month or 2.
And Netflix is going up again.
Yep. And so I'm just
They're going to have another price increase.
I'm done. If I want to watch something, I'll pay for the month and then I'll watch it and then I'm done.
Yeah. So, having all this sort of happen at the same time where where DC's, basically in zombie mode right now as we wait for the new stuff to start in a couple of years. The MCU completely falling apart, the end of the CW, the end of we do have a little bit to talk about here about some of the shows coming back, but basically the end of DC's media. Some pretty big flops in the last couple of years from the comic book video game end of it, so people aren't coming in that way, and then just a bunch of kind of decent sellers, but no killer books right now at Marvel and DC. Not really, not what you'd want. Obviously, this is all going to lead to comic sales slowing down. Because some interesting stuff came out. There was from Circana, formerly NPD, their book sales chart came out for the first 3 quarters here, where they're seeing graphic novel sales down from last year. There's obviously big gains, huge gains from 2016 to 2021, slipped last year, and then now this year they're down about 20% from last year. So again, we are.
But what is the numbers comparable to 2018, 2019?
So I don't have the chart, but I have. Let me pull the numbers here
because
I have
2020, 2021, and 2022 all have asterisks.
Well, right. So the from 2028, from 2019 to 2028, 2019, to 2023. That's what I'm looking at here. So January through August 2023, down 19% the same period from 2022. sales in 2022 were up 78% from 2016. So there was a big jump, right?
Yeah.
From 2016 to 2022. So what my guess is what happened here is sales have been naturally increasing in the graphic novel department, especially because of manga, because there's way more manga being published now in the United States, and it's way more popular. If it wasn't for COVID, I think these numbers would naturally be about where they are now. I think these are pretty natural numbers. They spiked in 2020 and 2021 because of COVID. And I think that's the mistake people made, is thinking this is the new norm. No, it wasn't. They've come to where I think, again, going up 50%, 40% from 2016 to 2023 makes sense, right? Again, you're up every year, you're up 10%, 10%, 10%. There's just more graphic novels in the system. People read them when they were younger. There's more interest in it now. There's less stigma about reading comic books. Manga's incredibly popular again. So those numbers are going up. And I feel like this is probably where we are. It may drop a little bit more just because of the world, but I think we're kind of back to a normal spot right now for graphic novel sales. So that boost in 2020, 2021 was nice, but it was never sustainable. This is from the ICV2 article here. Much of the slide in graphic novel sales was in the adult category, with manga leading the way. The figures are relative. Year-to-date manga sales are down 27% from 2022, but up 351% from 2019. Again, you're talking percentages up and down. Remember, if it goes up 350, but it drops 27, it's not that it went up 320%. It went up, but then it dropped a fourth of it back down. So that number is, what's that like? Like it lost like 80, 90% of that 351, something like that. I should do the math in my head. So I don't think we're going to go back to where manga sales were. It's clearly a big part of the industry now, but that jump was so inflated that we are now seeing kind of a natural, what I think is a natural number. So you're going to see at the end of this year, quote unquote, bad numbers for the comic industry, because they are going to drop from last year and they are going to drop from 2020 to 2021. The people will frame it as, the end is. Look long term. Look back to 2010. Look back to 2000. Look at where graphic novels are as part of the industry. Single issue comics have been flat for decades, and that's fine, really. The fact that single issues have maintained sales consistently, little ups and downs, is totally okay. It's a weird part. It's a weird industry. It's unlike anything else. Graphic novel sales went way up. They're coming down. But again, look at that long-term trend. I'm very confident we're not going to... Again, unless Marvel and DC decide to stop publishing comics tomorrow, nothing's happening, right? We are just going to where that normal number is. So again, remember this at the end of the year, early next year, when the 2023 numbers come out and there is big drops. Remember that it is course correcting from those big COVID years, especially it really didn't start till the end of last year when the numbers started to drop off pretty significantly. And so it's been this entire year where the numbers are a little funky. So just
that could also be applied with like just the cost of things going up, because I know Epic collections have gone from being like $35 to almost $45 in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Marvel and DC are basically non-factors in the bookstore market for graphic novels. They are. DC is, what were they last year? 10th. And Marvel wasn't even worth talking about. Like, didn't even chart. So, like, basically, they are non-factors in the book market. Now, the comic store market, very different. Where they're a much more significant part of the industry. But it's the for the graphic novel market, for the book market, you're going to see Manga sales drop. I won't say dramatically. Drop not insignificantly. Let's just say that, because I think they're returning to a normal trend. The kids market seems to still be doing very well, although I don't know if you saw the news today from Scholastic, where they are choosing to allow schools to opt out of quote unquote controversial material at their book fairs. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects graphic novel sales through Scholastic.
Oh no, we can't have Diary of an Anne Frank graphic novel where she talks about kissing a boy and they say the word penis.
This is going to be...
It could be week last week, so...
Yeah, Scholastic could see some big sales hits in the next 12 to 18 months. We'll see how that shakes out for them.
Well, and also, just as being like a parent with kids in schools, the graphic novels have helped out a lot with literacy, but the problem is now in schools, it's mainly what kids are reading. They're not reading like chapter books. And so there's a difficulty there of educators getting kids to read things that are chapter books. So you could see a push from just parents away from graphic novels in the next few years.
Yeah, I think that's, you're going to see that from certain segments of the population that are going to push away from graphic novels. But yeah, I the kids market and manga market are here. They will, like everything, go up and down, but kids books are still a big part of the book market. For comic book stores, for the single issues, the writing is on the wall for variant covers when Dynamite has less than 20 variant covers for a new Red Sonja comic.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Less than 20.
That's still not good.
That is half of what they had for previous issues, for previous number ones. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Half.
Yes, I know. Right. I've gone through having to do ordering on that shit. It's like click, 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 click. Nope.
Ryan, educate the public with all of these doomsday comic book stories. Okay, now you said the extreme version is DC and Marvel stop publishing comics. Okay, so take the extreme version out. Okay, don't count that. What would be a story that you could see where you would actually say, uh-oh? Like, what would be an indicator things are coming back to pre-COVID levels? Okay, short of companies stopping publishing comics, what would be an economic or sales indicator that would make you stop and go, in a bad way?
I mean, there's so many parts of the market, right?
Yeah.
I can't see a world. Well, the biggest concern would be paper and shipping prices. I don't think I've already heard from multiple publishers that massive increases have happened at the printers and in international shipping. We may have got that anthology in right under the wire, Kevin. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh no, media mail is fine if you're actually shipping something media mail. If you try to ship something,
I'm talking else, it's not that. I mean, I'm talking like big trucking and everything like that, right? I can't see anything causing a like overnight death of the industry. Someone described the comic industry as death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? And that is kind of how it's always been, where when you had to deal with books going up to $2, well, every book you didn't sell cost you $1. Well, now the books are $5 or $6. Every book you're not selling is $2 or $2.50, $3, right? But people are making more money, but things cost more. So the average customer's weekly bill went from $50 to $75 for those kind of, Wednesday warrior crowd, right? $100 per sale on a Wednesday is normal for comics off the shelf. That's not a big sale. That's a normal sale.
I'm ringing people up for 3 comic books and saying $18 fucking.
Yeah, and it's $20. Yeah, sure.
And I'm
what
the fuck is this shit?
This is what I said before. Comics have been widely underpriced forever, and we're seeing a bit of a change. I think variant covers will never go away, but if you were hoping for variant covers to become less of a thing, you're going to get your wish. They are going to be pulled way back next year.
Good.
They are going to be pulled way back. Things got a little out of hand. Again, I think people had money, people had time, things. They're always going to be a part of the industry. They're not going away. But I again, looking at those trends, you look at someone like Dynamite, who that is their bread and butter.
Okay, I looked up a Red Sonja title on Comic Book Realm.
Yeah,
you know how they give you how many one from 2019 to 2021. Whatever Red Sonja series that was, 490 some odd covers.
For how many issues?
Oh, I didn't look at how many issues, but it's only probably like maybe 20 max.
Yeah. Right. So, most of those Dynamite issue number ones would have 25 to 30 variant covers. Sometimes they would push a little bit higher. So down to sub 20 is a sign. It just is, right?
Okay, so here it's Red Sonja Volume 8, 2019 to 2021, had a whopping total of, 28 issues.
Yeah.
But it had a total of 490 some odd.
That's probably not even all the covers.
No. Like, for what's funny is it only went up to like a couple over R on issue 1. But if you look at like a miniseries like Agent of Chaos or whatever, that one had almost 200, and the covers went into like what was it? They
go like A, B, C, D, E, and then
got
they go
into
to
doubles. It was A, B, A, C.
Yeah, it tends to go like Z, Z, A, Z, B, Z, C, Z, D, Z, E.
It was Age of Chaos.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was down to AA, AB, AC, AD, and then like a ton more. There's even 2 on here of unknowns.
Yeah. If those are signs, if you see, I think, if you see Marvel and DC start cutting back just their regular output, right? I mean, that's a sign that something's not working. But I think the variant covers are there's a bunch of stuff that can happen before we start to get into real trouble. And I just don't think it'll get to that point because single issues, the prices will go up. I said comics should be $4.99. That's not going to last very long. They're going to be more than $4.99 very, very soon. They're already $4.99 at this point. DC's doing it with extra pages. Marvel's just going straight to $4.99 on multiple books. There's still some $3.99 stuff out there.
Well, Marvel's doing the wonderful $7.99 to $9.99 issue 1s.
A lot of them.
And then issue 2 is like the same. And then 3, oh no, we'll go back to reasonable at 3.
All the indies are up to $4.99. A lot of them, and I think you're going to see that continue. There isn't like one thing that just sound the warning bell. It's these little gradual, but what's the expression, right? It's like the lobster being boiled alive. You're used to it, right? And you're just, well, this is the industry, and eventually people just phase out, but new people come in. I don't know. If you're a game store, if you're a Funko Pop store, I mean, you're already out, right? If you're a game store, man, you got to be looking at the writing and how the stuff, just look at how, everyone pivoted to games. Well, man, like it's going to happen to those too. People are going to get priced out, and the industry only goes for so long. I don't know if you guys follow this at all, but Troll and Toad, which is a very, very huge online.
Yes. Troll and Toad, the most ridiculous shippers known to man.
Look, I'll step slightly out of my wheelhouse for a second, but for people that know what this is, Troll and Toad does a lot of online CCG, TCG, single issues and stuff like, or single
Magic cards,
stuff like that. Yeah, Magic cards, Pokemon, stuff like that, right? I mean, TCG players like the big one now, so I don't even know. Troll and Toad may be hurting. But regardless, they announced that they're no longer going to sell Magic single issue or single cards. That basically the market's been ruined on Magic, and they're pulling out entirely. That is a unreal situation that I think shows a problem with the gaming market that's gonna happen to them too. Like, there cannot be endless growth forever. Like, these things, it's good when it's booming, but boy, if you're a game store, be careful, because the same thing's gonna happen. It's not going away. Games are great. There's a huge audience for them forever, but the things boom and bust. You got to be careful. Just stock smart, stock well. Don't go all in on everything. It's gonna happen to games too. So, yeah.
Don't over order on that second wave of Disney Lorcana.
Yeah. Oh, I think you're good for that for a couple sets, but yeah, be careful. Don't double your order every time.
Well, because
if Marvel and DC stop publishing comics tomorrow, that wouldn't affect Visit Kodansha, right? I mean, you'd still have the manga market. That wouldn't affect Drawn Quarterly. That wouldn't affect Fantagraphics. It might, in that comic stores wouldn't carry their product, but I don't think they're a big part of that market. So I don't know how much it would hurt them in the long run. I think the comic books would exist even if Marvel and DC stopped tomorrow, but it would be a very different place. Comic stores would turn into bookstores, or they'd become old comic stores. It would just be back issues. There would be no single.
They'd convert to like back issues, and if there were still trades, like
that would absolutely kill Image and Dark Horse and IDW and Oni and Boom and companies like that, because so much of their product their upfront sales come from single issue sales driven by people coming in from Marvel and DC stuff. If you lose people buying Spider-Man and Wolverine, a lot of those people also buy Saga and Something is Killing the Children. And those people, if they stop buying, they're not going to come back just for a book or two. Usually, some of them will, but it would damage other companies, but it wouldn't. I
mean, I think you would still have a comic book market, but without Marvel and DC, those shelves are going to be pretty bare.
Well, it wouldn't be. It'd be a completely different thing. Yeah. It wouldn't. It would not be the same.
Hey, but then you would have space to stock that weird ass comic that nobody's going to ask about, right?
Well, no, I still wouldn't, because no one would ask for it. Side
question.
Yeah.
Speaking of prices, how did God's Number 1 sell?
Almost sold out. I've reordered a couple extra copies just to make sure we had copies. I mean, I do with Gods what I do with every other book. I order what I think is the right amount based on pre-orders. I have to put a little bit of my own, personal opinion into it. Obviously,
comic book shop owner math.
I mean,
like Marvel
you have
math,
to, right? Yeah. I cut orders for number 2 slightly, because pre-orders for 2 did not really change over 1. I expect some people will come back and some people won't. I sold at least 2 extra copies because when asked, I told customers, regular customers, not people off the street, just regular customers, how much I hated issue number 1, that they were actually more excited to buy it. Oh. After hearing how much I hated it, because they were like, well, I got to judge this for myself, No,
wait, I think I missed part of the story here. Did you hate number 1, or is this a sales tactic?
No, it's terrible.
Oh, it's fucking garbage.
Terrible.
Ryan got barely a few pages ahead of me.
Yeah.
So wait, you can't wait. You can't review it if you didn't finish it. Come on.
No, I could not finish
it. I was reading it and I was like, I don't want to read this anymore.
Well, now I totally have to read it, you guys. To
see, that's what Yeah,
it's Marvel's Sandman. Yeah.
Oh, F off with that garbage.
No, I 100% want people to read the book and make their own opinion on it, and I hope you really enjoy it. I could not make heads or tails of it, and tried twice and couldn't finish the book. I couldn't finish the first issue. Now, I've checked out on comics after one page. So, look, I'm not immune to this, right? I've literally read 2 panels and went, no, I'm good. And I just put the book back, right? So I have to. I can only read so much. I tried. Okay. I went back and tried to read it. I found it impossible to read.
You know, I think one of the reasons I'm excited is the wrong word. Interested in reading it. I think the complaints about comics book pricing is not always necessarily the dollar amount that's on the cover, is the perceived value of that dollar. Like $4.99 for something you read in under 10 minutes where it's all splash pages. Like your $4.99 can go much further than that in all other entertainment fields. And so, but when there's like I have no problem paying for a Black Label book because I know it's a full meal. You know, you're going to be sitting with it for a while. So yes, the God's price tag kind of makes me grit my teeth, but I was expecting like a big, thick, like rich, interesting. Okay, you don't need to comment on the quality. I'm saying from before it came out, like something like dense, and it's going to take me a while to get through. And I may love it, I may like it, I may be neutral, whatever, but I would feel like I'm having a longer ride for my dollar than all fight scenes, splashes, and I'm done in 8 minutes.
It's definitely a lot of words in it.
Okay.
Well, a lot of words.
And I know that's a two-edged sword, but I'm saying I think that the complaints about prices would be less if the books were perceived as like the Walmart Giants. If that was the standard release of every comic, I don't think people would complain about the price as much. Just an opinion.
Oh yeah. No, the side, a 20-page comic for $4.99 is a bit tough to swallow. A 20-page comic for $5.99 is even harder to swallow, right? DC does the cardstock covers to make them a little fancier. They have the backup stuff now, so they're $4.99 books. I believe all except for Superman have backup stories. I don't know why Superman's $4.99. I'm not sure on that because there's no backup. But everything else has a backup. And that's pretty normalish now for the DC books. They're back on that model. And again, remember, this was, drawing the line at $2.99. When they had the $3.99 books, they had backups, and that just became, all books became $3.99. They ease you into this, right? And I told everyone this. I've told you this for like a year or two. Look at all the specials and anniversary issues and things Marvel had because they were prepping you for that $4.99 price point. They were doing it in 2019, but COVID prevented everyone from jumping up to $4.99. But now it's happened. I've been saying this for years. We're at the point now where the books are $4.99. There's specials, they're doing all these $10 specials and blah, blah, blah. If Gods came out at $4.99 with just the first 20 pages of that book, I mean, I don't know that it would have made any difference. Like, I think as far as I got, like, you get the same amount of story in it. I don't know that I don't see anything in that book that you needed to have it be double sized as the first issue. I didn't get any reason. Like, I was like, I kind of just started flipping when I got to the back, like the second half of the book. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's going to be something big. It's just nothing. It's just a bunch of nothing. And then it just ends. And you're like, okay, maybe they thought, let's get this out of the way, the first 2 issues out of the way, because nothing really happens to the third. So let's get it done. And then we'll give you the good shit the next issue if you come back. I don't know. It's just it's completely baffling to me. But yes, I literally sold. Well, now maybe I sold 3 extra copies. Yeah, because I said how much I disliked the book.
Well, you're going to sell through those number 1s, which is really good. Now selling through more number 2s.
Yeah. And so I didn't go like crazy. I didn't cut like sub only or anything crazy. No, I ordered a decent amount of number 2s, more than I expected, because I didn't think number 1 would sell this well. And if I get stuck on number 2, well, then number 3, I cut the hell, right? And if number 2 sells, then I'll order 3. That's how the industry works. I can only go based off the previous issue and what I know of the next one, right?
But it's Marvel's Sandman Saga, man.
World's Finest is such a funny book. I continuously sell out of every issue I restock on that book. And even the last issue, sales dropped bit more than I was expecting, and I wasn't quite sure why. And then I held on and actually bumped my order for the next issue a little bit on FOC because they're going to bring in like the Kingdom Come stuff. Mark Waid's doing he's going back to the Kingdom Come books. So I figured that may get a few more people in. But in the meantime, I then sold a bunch of those other issues of Brave and the Bold, or World's Finest that I was like, and they sell the other time. It feels weird. This is more than I normally have. So it totally worked out that, yeah, those customers just came in late and it did end up selling and almost sold out. So, when I look back at the orders at the end of the week, like the stuff is still selling very, very well. There's the X-Men books right now. X-Men and Immortal X-Men are like scraping about as low as you can get, but they're kind of like the ongoing books. So that's everything else. Horrible, wretched sales. Star Wars, horrible. Single digit on some of these books, which is unheard of for us. Those like X-Men and Star Wars are like the two big black holes right now for Marvel. Like they've got to get that stuff under control. And I think it's just they put out too much shit. And there just isn't sales for all the stuff they're putting out. They've killed the audience on that. Transformers and G.I. Joe from Image, that's going to be real curious. Transformers 1 did very, very well. It did not do crazy gangbusters. It did very, very well, especially for Transformers. But where's that book going to be in 6 issues? Because people don't stick around for Transformers, right? That's just the cycle of this stuff. The search for the next saga. There isn't one. And even saga numbers are way down because you take 5 years off a book, people forget, right? Trade sales are okay, but like there isn't an indie book right now. Saga and Something is Killing the Children. Spawn. I was talking about Spawn, like how the sales are crazy for Spawn. They are all but sub only again. We are almost not stocking Spawn again. What a fall. How the mighty have fallen. And what they do, they put out like 6 fucking series. When you just had one, it worked. Now you're doing all this work for all these different books and the sales plummet across the board. I don't know that if you just had the one, that it would sell the same amount as all these books sell combined, but it's way less work, all right? This is my problem with the variant covers. You want to do a variant cover, great. You want to do 2, okay. You want to do like 5. Is there a market for that? Is the effort, bless you, is the effort to make that and sell those? Yes, you are selling more overall, but you also have to put more effort and more work into it. And you're paying more people, and you're printing more, and you're shipping more. I don't know that it adds up. I don't know that you're getting that many more sales out of it. You're doing a lot more work to tread water. The math just doesn't work for this stuff. If Batman had one variant cover, it would sell less. But it might be fine. That you can take the effort and the money into those couple variant covers and put out a couple new books. And I think you need more of that. The thing with Marvel, with these endless miniseries, like they've got to stop. It kills sales, right? Every independent book's a miniseries. There's so fewer ongoing. The couple ongoing ones actually do pretty well for us. One of our highest selling books is Time Before Time from Image. It's an ongoing book. It sells pretty well. I don't know. Like, I feel like every company's like making the wrong mistakes the last year or two. It feels like everyone's so off. So, I don't know. Comics are dying again. I don't know. We'll see what happens at the end of the year.
Well,
sorry, that was just
DC's
my
doing
pent-up
those.
Rant here.
DC's been doing those like artist spotlights, right? Like artist spotlight variant covers, which I think are fine because it's on a handful of books. That's fine. It's not the whole line, right? Is it too many books? Probably. Like it could probably get cut down to maybe 6. But like. That's fine because, they're open order. It works. It's okay. And it's not too excessive. But like on top of, 3 covers, a connecting cover, foil cover, one, like all of these other covers, it's like, whoa, like.
It's just too much. And there are some artists that are going to sell a variant cover every time, right?
Yeah.
Even like Peach Momoko's, her stuff's way down, but it sells okay. So look, if you want to have her crank out variant covers for every single book, I mean, I guess go for it. They'll sell a few extra copies. You want Jenny Frison or you want Artgerm to do variant covers. Look, if Artgerm could do 80 variant covers a month, I'd sell a hell of a lot more comics. I don't think the market for that would ever dry up. It just doesn't, right?
Well, it just depends on what he's drawing.
Yeah, but even then, even a mediocre Artgerm cover outsells so many other books. Look, I love Superman. I don't need 3 Superman variant covers that are just Superman being Superman. The audience isn't there for that. I don't need multiple Flash variant covers. The audience isn't there for that. Oh God,
don't talk about Flash, please.
Wolverine, he can get away with a couple of variant covers. The Spider-Man, sure. Does X-Force need like 3 variant covers? No, it doesn't. Nobody cares.
Are the Disney covers done yet?
No, they went through the end of the show. They're on the
fucking...
Well, but man, they're going to pump those going forward because they sell really well. I'm okay with variant covers. Just be smart about where you put them and how many you do with them. Number ones, you want to go a little crazy? Fine. I'm not going to do whatever. Hell, look at our sales for Fire and Ice #1, the DC book, versus #2. Yeah. Those variant covers sold very, very, very well. Yeah. Of course, they're selling the variant cover collectors. That's fine. I knew what #2 was going to sell. I could have ordered a little bit more on the variants, but it'd sell out on this pretty quick. But I figured this is probably what I expected.
That was a Greg Smallwood variant, though.
It was really good.
Like, that one I would have been like, bump that just a scotch.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, you've got to be smart about these covers, right? But yeah, if I got
you can't blind order an Adam Hughes anymore. It's just
if I got 6 variant covers in front of me, it's like none of them they're all meaningless, right? Make one, make it good.
Well, it's like too much choice, right? Like people
it's
don't want to.
It's too much.
They're like, oh no, never mind. I don't need to buy it.
I was totally getting variant covers for myself all the time, and I just like all but stopped. Except, I mean, I get maybe one a week. I was getting not everything, but
I was getting a fair amount. I've cut back.
I'll pick up another cover. Oh, you want me to pick up 5 covers? No, I'm good. No, thank you. I'll only get my favorite one now. You've killed it. You had it. You can maintain that. It's so frustrating. So frustrating.
And miniseries need variants, right?
Speaking of frustrating. The Comics Pro survey came out, and probably didn't see a lot of people probably didn't see this. But again, this is all back behind the counter stuff today. This is retailers talking about all the distributors. So this came out on ICV2 and the Comics Pro website. Comics Pro is a retailer organization I used to belong to, no longer.
Why?
But Comics Pro?
Yeah.
Not interested. Thanks, but no thanks.
That bad of a shift. I mean, are you under an NDA?
No.
I think they want honesty. Then just give it to them.
It's not them. It's the people in the group. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm loud to a degree, for sure. When I need to be on here, and I mean, you run your here. Here's the problem with comic store owners. All right. We're all kings of our domain. All right. You can't have 600 kings having a conversation, kings or queens, right? You just can't, because we all think we're right. Some of us know we're right, but we all think we're right, right? So what affects me is right for me. I try my hardest to look at the market in a larger sense. I've always tried to do this. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I have my experiences, but I also look at national trends and I look at how this stuff works outside of my own market. I try my hardest. Far from perfect, but I try. Most retailers do not try. They know what works for them, and that's all they care about. That's fine, but when you are pushing your model on other stores and publishers, that's when I have a problem. And let's put this to the test. Lunar Distribution, which is owned by DCBS, the Discount Comic Book Service, easily the most hated distributor in comics. Yet, when you have the Comics Pro anonymous survey, they're ranked the best distributor between Lunar, Diamond, and Penguin Random House.
Yeah.
In the retailer forums, they are hated. They are vilified. Privately, they are number one, according to this Comics Pro survey. The highest score for packing, minimize damages, getting new comics to them, getting stuff for new comic day, giving them lead on metrics. The things that are important to comic stores, the only things that should, I don't care who owns Lunar. Does Lunar give me my books on time for a good price in a sellable condition? I can order them easily. They have stock. I get responses to emails. I can report there's problems. They're not perfect. But of the three, they are by far the best. And they have been ranked the best by retailers. But if you go to the retailer forum, you would think that they are sending you boxes of shit every single week. Like literally steaming boxes of poop that they have pooped out of their own ass and then mailed to you poorly. That's what you would expect based on the way that people talk about Lunar. But they are the best. So, it's kind of funny. Just kind of funny. Penguin gets good scores for customer service and having a wide selection, but dinged for shipping, of course. And Diamond outscored the others for ease of ordering and their point-of-sale system integration, because they obviously have their own point-of-sale system, so that works. Extremely dissatisfied with shipping costs, which Diamond still has horrible shipping costs, so that does affect a lot of stores that they will not order from Diamond because Diamond charges too much to ship the books. Penguin did have dramatic increases from 2022 survey, because again, they do this every year. The packing and damaged product decreases has been great. Penguin is far from perfect, but much better at shipping product than they were. The comic books come better. The graphic novels, they still need to work on. But the comic books, they have the trades.
Sorry. I just know how they've been throwing them in the box.
Right, trades are handled by the book department. The comic books are now being handled by the comic department. So the comic people know what they're doing because they listen to us. The book people are like, bookstores don't care. It's a book. Throw it in a box. And that's how it works.
Funny enough, I've talked to one of the bookstore owners, like our local one, and she goes, she's complained to Penguin Random House about their book packing, and she's like, "What is wrong with these people?"
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. All right, so here we go. I'll poll you guys. Tuesday comics, Wednesday comics, of 100%. How many said they only?
I can't answer this. I already looked at it.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Okay, Kevin.
Okay.
Of 100%, 100 retailers were polled. Of 100%, top two answers on the board. How many retailers said that they only sold new comics on Wednesday? Again, you would think, based on forums, that the idea of selling DC Comics on Tuesday was the worst crime committed in human history. Now, we do not. I do not. I do not sell comics on Tuesday. We're not set up for that. I don't want to split the days. Tuesdays are too busy. We're not that type of shop. I'm perfectly happy, and my customers have absolutely no problem coming in Wednesday. I am totally fine if other stores put DC out on Tuesday.
It doesn't really
does not work
us.
for us. Right, does not work for us, but go for it. Of 100%. What percent said they only sell Wednesday, and what percent said they also sell on Tuesday?
Is this the group that you invited me into once upon a time? Remember that?
Accidentally.
Accidentally,
yes,
right.
Yes,
this is Ryan invites me to a party, and the party sucks. And then as soon as I get in the door, he's like, "Nice to see you. Okay, I'm out of here."
He left his spy in there. That's what he was
exactly. Doing. God, I just found it exhausting. So what? A majority of them are going to say they sell on Tuesdays?
Well, no. Just what do you think the percent is? Based on how much it feels like retailers hate selling comics, hate the idea of Tuesday. How many of them out of 100% actually do it?
40.
48% sell on Tuesdays.
I was going to say 50. I thought that was too high.
Basically half. Basically half, right? Now, 57% of retailers say they hate or don't like selling comics on Tuesday, but they do it. Right?
Well, they do it because they think, oh, I'm going to one-up the guys that don't do it.
And I don't mind it. And I don't. Right? Like, the thing... So Penguin... So Diamond Comics was always Wednesday. When Lunar started... Now, I don't know. No official answer has ever been given, but I will tell you what the answer is. Graphic novels release on Tuesdays because they are books. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, they get graphic novels on Tuesdays. Comic book stores used to get graphic novels 6 days ahead of time. We would have them the previous Wednesday. In order to, if we would not get them a day late, we would get them 6 days early. In order to make graphic novels in the market everywhere at the same time, DC and all the other companies have made graphic novel sales Tuesday. Now, Penguin or Random House, every graphic novel sold by them can be released on Tuesday. Nobody complains about that, which I find very funny. But the release date for those is Tuesday. Even Marvel's Tuesday. Even Marvel says Tuesday. If you look at Marvel on my invoice, it says Tuesday is the release date, not Wednesday.
Because Amazon was complaining that comic book stores got an advantage over them.
I don't think that's what it is.
Oh, it is that Jeff Bezos would be that petty.
They don't care.
No, they care. They want to fuck everybody.
No. It's the marketing. Because they had to market these books twice. It's available today in comic book stores, and then it's available on Tuesday in bookstores. They had to market them twice. So in order to make that all the same day, they shifted the release dates to match up on Tuesdays. If DC is putting comics out on books on Tuesday, why not just put your comics out on Tuesday and then Tuesday's your marketing day?
Man, now, marketing is lazy as fuck. All they had to do was go early October, mid-October, late October.
You got to give people dates, though, man.
People don't look at dates. They look Google because it. You can do it online, but
this is why. So I think it causes confusion the other way right now with the single issues, but we used to have, Kevin, we used to have Friday release days. We used to have Wednesday and Friday splits. When I was in LA, they used to get stuff early. So we had Tuesday, Thursday releases. They said, fuck it, we're not even going to put this on Friday. The local stuff will come Tuesday and then the other stuff will come Thursday. Right? Like, it was the Wild West back then. At least now it's pretty consistent. But yeah, still, half the stores just put books out on Tuesdays now. So I actually
there's a couple stores that just put the books out once they get them.
Well, that's another problem. Sure, look, far from perfect, but yeah, I'm pretty confident that
I bet I could go get a store in trouble this weekend.
Now you ask me, move back to Wednesday. DC doesn't need to be on Tuesday. Single issues don't need to be on Tuesday. I think it's a hassle. I don't want to do it. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. Like, you put me in charge, I'd move back to Wednesday. But it's like, whatever. Like, it hasn't affected us. So, maybe it's affected some stores, right? If you're a store and the people across the street from you are selling their books early and all your customers go over there, then yeah, it affects you. I understand.
Well, even the store we share a pallet with, they release on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do Tuesday release because it's like the amount of work you have to do and prep that you would like. Okay, I prepped the wall. Now I have to shift that entire wall the next day. Well, like, why don't I just do all this all at once like a normal fucking person?
Yeah. And that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I have very little interest in splitting the new release day up.
So they took that marketing of having to do two things and go, here, comic book stores, do two things.
Well, I have for years, and other retailers have also, to move New Comic Day to Tuesday across the board for everything because it lines up with the bookstores and it gives us an extra day in the week to sell comics. Sales for new comics are Wednesday through Saturday. That's the sale window. That is a sale window. You move them to Tuesday.
But how long have they been Wednesday? That's the question.
Mid-90s?
Yeah, I mean,
consistently 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a consistent thing with 30 years, trying to change that is, I mean, go for it if you want to, but
all right, they did.
I
was expecting everyone to go to Tuesday. I would prefer if you have the option of everything Wednesday, everything Tuesday, or split. Everything Tuesday is my answer because it aligns comic books with books, and it gives you everything in one day.
Yeah,
and there's no confusion.
But as from a store perspective, at the back of the house, that cuts. Like if you're selling books longer, yeah, that's better money wise, but that doesn't give you near as much time necessarily to do things to upkeep and all that stuff around the shop. Because Sunday, Mondays are your kind of days where you can do those things. You can do them throughout the day on the other ones. But if you're having consistent day, like more days of selling,
it just shifts. It just shifts everything. It just shifts everything a day. Fridays, Thursday, Friday become a little bit different. Tuesday, Wednesday become more important. It just moves the crowd a little bit, but it gives you more time.
It doesn't
Sunday,
give you more
Monday,
time. It gives you the same amount of time.
It gives you
because the release date is now the same. It's shifting the days. It gives you the same time.
Generally speaking, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are slow days at comic book stores for many, not all, not most, maybe not most, for many, because Wednesday release day, Fridays and Saturdays are just generally busy shopping days. If you moved everything to Tuesday, the hardcores would come in Tuesday. People would filter in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You would have an extra day of sales, and you would spread the crowd out a little bit more. You'd have time to do the back of house stuff. Like, trust me, I sorting Mondays would be the thing. We'd have to get product earlier. Penguin and Luna are good about it. Diamond's not. It's not perfect, but if it would come down to the three, that's how I'd go. But that's just me. So yeah, comic book stores.
They're dying. It's dead. It's over.
Frustrated with a bunch of stuff. No big surprise there. The whole industry, dying as always. End of the year numbers are going to be interesting. I think they're going to be a little scary in some locations. You're going to hear a lot of people freaking out. But we're already seeing 2024 plans. There's no major change. I don't see any significant shift. If things continue to decline in 2024, I will be concerned. I think we are hitting what's an inversed plateau? What happens with the down plateaus? What do they call that? Not a sales plateau up or a sales plateau down. I feel we're at the point where we are coming down from any drops. Good thing about comic stores, we're very quick. We can react extremely fast. When things stop selling, I change immediately, right? It doesn't take a year or two. It takes weeks for me to shift. Not even weeks. It takes a week for me to shift gears. And I already have. And I'm one of those, like, I think I'm at the end, like I'm an outlier. I feel like more comic stores have moved away from being traditional comic stores. So I'm kind of like one of the last people standing doing this, kind of the full service comic store thing. So like, if it's hitting me, that means the market is now at the point where it is affecting every store. When I'm starting to see drops in variant covers, when I'm starting to see these things that have affected other stores for the last year. So now we are at the point where I believe we are going to flat. And the hope is in a year or two, it starts to drift up as new creators come in, new voices become bigger. Some of that, people have sort of had a little time off from the comic industry. The movies start back up. People get maybe a little bit more excited, a little more interested. Some good stuff comes out. There's always good stuff, but it's just, it's getting people in. So that's my guess. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we've got 2024 should be flat. I don't think it'll go down too much, maybe a couple percent, but I think 2024 will be mostly flat. And then, I think we're, again, industry-wide, you're going to see drops from certain segments, but I don't think there's going to be any like plummet. I think we're going to be maintained pretty flat for 2024. And we'll see where we go from there. So hard to judge much further ahead than that, but that's my guess. So we'll see. I don't. Again, short of something bizarre like Warner Brothers selling DC tomorrow and shuttering the graphic and shutting their print market, I can't compensate for that. Right? Image Comics goes out of business. I don't see that happening. If it happens, it kind of is out of nowhere. Right? We lose a couple small companies. That's expected. But we saw IDW, we saw Oni, we saw who else? Valiant, right? So yeah, it's that's where I think we are. So we'll see. Numbers friend of this year, not going to be great. Should be flat in 2024. So we'll see. And on that note, we're going to wrap up. Thank you all very, very much for these ramblings.
We're not even. Yeah. You're not even going to talk about the movie stuff you talked about earlier.
Nah, fucking, I don't care. I squeezed an hour out of this. You kidding me?
Come on, you said hit one. Come on.
You literally started the podcast saying with the movies not doing too well, and we'll get to a couple things in there, and then you were like the video games, and you didn't even really touch on that.
I will get on. Well, no, there was not much to talk about. There was not much to talk about any of that stuff. I was just making comments. Kevin, I will. Because this is a news story I had on our list. I will talk about this as a way to wrap up because we have only 2.5 months to choose our 2024 top things, top most unlikely
I believe we
things.
took off 23 off.
Yeah, because I think we kind of didn't have a good one. But here we go. Jason Blum confirms the Spawn movie release date window and plans to stand by it.
Okay.
In a new interview with comicbook.com, the Blumhouse producer revealed that the film will be released 2025 is when Spawn is going to come out. I stand by that. Here we go. We got one. Spawn's back.
We'll see, but we
have a date. Want to die on.
We can't put that on our 2024 list, though.
No, but we can. Do we think 2025 is the year? Do we think 2025 is the year? That we can if it's out in 2025, we know in 2024. If it's coming out in 2025, we will have
there'll be a trailer,
some level of
towards the end of 24.
Some filming has started. Yeah. They can't just be writing a script in December and it's out in 12 months. Not usually.
Oh wait, Disney's not doing it.
If it's coming out in 2025, we will know next year. So, Spawn's back, baby.
Why are you even excited?
I'm not excited for the Spawn movie. I'm excited for our bet. I'm excited for our yearly poll.
Dude, so yearly
Spawn's back on the list.
Doesn't do anything.
It doesn't matter. It's fun. It's the only thing I look forward to.
Wow.
It's the only thing that gets me through the year.
Okay. Well, on that note,
hopefully Landon hear that. Oh.
Well, but you'll have Craven to look forward to, won't you? Next year.
That got pushed back,
but
right?
It's next year, isn't it?
That's early, right?
That'll get you through.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll get that Blu-ray or that 4K release of Batgirl.
When did it get moved to? It was March or something, April, something like that. I can't remember.
Does anybody care when it got moved to?
Ryan's going to be holding a private screening. He cares.
They got to fill time before the movies can start. Oh, did we get that Fantastic Four movie in 2025? By the way, too.
Was it
likely? Huh?
Didn't I just swear I saw a story somewhere saying that it's been cast and it'll be announced after the actors' strike is over.
Wait, can you cast stuff during a strike?
Yes, you just can't start working on it. Because
Okay.
they would have auditioned before the strike.
I mean, I guess if you start working on it December 2023, it could be out December 2025. Feels
you could.
Well, with the way Disney's going with CG, they'll be fine.
Yeah,
it might not look the best, but hey,
yep,
it just has to do better than that 90s one.
Also, or any of them.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. Wonderful podcast.
Man, I didn't even get to talk about Creator.
Based on the hit comic book Creator?
No. It's just a great sci-fi movie that everyone should go watch. Nice. The Creator, it's amazing. Apparently, this movie was supposed to be 5 hours long, and they cut it down. I want to see more.
Should have made 2 movies.
No, I don't need any Dune or Goblet of Fire shit or whatever the Harry Potter series did to like 3 movies.
Dune it.
But very, very good. I highly recommend the.
Have you guys watched Loki?
Yeah, 1 episode's out. I'm not. I'll bank a couple.
Did you watch?
I don't have Disney Plus, so no.
Oh, okay, yeah, man.
I got to get through Andor first.
Andor was fantastic. I'm off the treadmill.
Whoa.
I'm watching Lower Decks. I continue watching Star Trek Lower Decks, which is fantastic. And I'm watching Ken Burns baseball is what I'm watching right now.
Hell?
Ken Burns? Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ken Burns' shit's good. I can't watch it because it puts me to sleep, but it's good.
Oh,
yeah, that baseball one is really good. Yeah.
I'm in the 3rd inning.
Wow.
Got
now
like
that is the plot twist of this episode. Jesus.
It's baseball. It shouldn't be a plot twist. The Red Sox are out.
Red Sox are out, right? Ryan needs something to fill his time because
I gotta watch baseball in October somehow. I'm not watching the games. So thank you to our backers, patreon.com/comic-conspiracy, especially to our high-tier backers, Edward at geekyvillain.com, The Lowdown with Luke and Derek on Spotify and YouTube, Joe Duff, Kelsey May, Craig Anderson at the Executive Evolution Podcast, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast, and Talon Bray. Thank you all very much for continued support. Head over to comicconspiracypodcast.com and Apple Podcast. You can find all our previous episodes. If you go to comicsconspiracy.biz, you can. Oh, I almost forgot. You can go to that website and buy comic books. You can also buy comic books from us at the store, especially early little announcement here. You guys will get this half a day early. Our 30th anniversary fall. Our 30th anniversary fall sale will be this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. At Comics Conspiracy in Sunnyvale, California. That's Saturday the 14th and Sunday the 15th. Big savings on everything in the store, as well as finally the return of our outdoor sale.
Well, I didn't hear anything about this from my local comic store until right now.
Well, it was supposed to be this past weekend, but because scheduling conflicts, we moved it up a week, or moved it back a week. We usually do in October. Well, we used to always do April and October would be like our 2 sales. So
we haven't had books outside for sale
for COVID. Yeah.
In
end of 2019.
Yep. So 2019 was the October. So 4 years.
Yep.
So it's been 4 years since I've had to lug fucking dollar books.
We didn't even have the warehouse then. Where were they?
Huh?
My house?
They were at your house.
Storage? Were they at my house?
The dollar books at that time were
at the storage.
They
unit?
were at the storage unit.
At the old storage unit.
At the old storage unit, and then for a brief amount of time, they were at your house.
Yeah.
In your garage, and then we got the warehouse, and we didn't have a sale because I don't think I brought books back to the warehouse. Yep.
So now we're gonna have that sale. So we got lots of good stuff that are gonna be out of the sale. Lots of weird stuff gonna be at that sale, but it should be good. So that's Saturday, Sunday. So if you're around, come visit us. Also, check out meanwhileanthology.com. You can find the comic book that myself and Kevin and Brock and Toby and Lane and my wife Leanne and all our good friends
and some other professional people,
and just pros made for our 30th anniversary. Meanwhileanthology.com, and copies are available. Comics Conspiracy and on their website. Check out Brock's website and videos over at conspiratorbrock.com. My brain just shut down trying to say the word video for some reason.
All good.
Charlie's Wanders in the Fourth Dimension Doctor Who podcast, talking all about the good doctor. And Kevin's weekly interview series called Between the Panels at fanbasepress.com, interviewing new and big creators alike. And my wife, Leanne, is at leannehill.com, and her art is there. And that's also at etsy.com/shop/leannehillart. And at this point, should I just take our Twitter handles off? It's basically the same. Good luck, Twitter. Good luck, Twitter. On Blue Sky, I'm Ryan Higgins.
I think the second it asks me for financial information to make it like, I'm like, bye-bye.
Well, the new one today was you can't even reply to blue check marks unless you have a paid account. So it's like,
oh, really?
They just don't want anyone to like. He is trying his hardest to kill this service, but people keep going on it. He's like, just could we? I'm trying so hard, guys. I'm trying.
Well, you know why he wants to kill it, right? Because if he kills it, he can say, "Oh, it doesn't make any money, and I lost all this money." $44
billion tax write-off.
Yeah, that's what he's going for.
On Blue Sky, I'm Ryan Higgins. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Kevin is that Kevin Sharp. You can follow the store at Comics Con Store on Twitter. I do post that occasionally, but it's just me what I post all the other social media stuff. And check out Geekbox every other week, talking about geeky stuff with my buddy Ryan Scott, and occasionally Justin and Adam when they're around, but they've not been around as much. So it's mostly just me and Ryan. And Manga Nations talk about manga and anime. Our friends over there talk about some cool manga stuff. All right, that's it. Thank you guys very much.
See you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.